Welcome back, Queen, to another episode of According to Annie. I am so excited. I love dropping in with you guys and sharing what's been happening behind the scenes, some tips, some tricks. Oh, stay tuned the next couple of weeks. Mm, they are gonna get juicy. So if you're new here, hello, welcome. I am so excited to have you, and what an honor it is that you have chosen to tune on in. So welcome. If you are an OG, you know who you are, then welcome back, babe. It is so awesome to be dropping back in with you once again. I love you. I love all of you so dearly. And I truly am so appreciative of you choosing to spend some time with me today or, any episode that you do tune into. It really is an absolute honor to share the ins and outs of life and just my perspective on things. And I don't take that lightly. So thank you, babe, for being here and being you. Oh, it's February. Wowzers. It is February. Can you believe it? Kind of feel like February is the new January. Everyone I'm talking to kind of feels like January was this month, like kind of went slow, but kind of went fast, but kind of wanted to bring in the new year energy, but yet still felt a little bit stuck in last year's energy. So I know I'm definitely feeling that. So I'm feeling good about February. I'm feeling good about Feb. But today's topic, what I wanted to drop in and share is a bit of a theme that is coming up within my community amongst the salon owners, and that is around marketing and branding and aesthetically pleasing Insta or Facebook socials feed. Okay. And so I think this is a really important topic. I'm not going to go too long into it because there's a lot of factors that do go into it, but I just want to share some insight. And perhaps you haven't thought of it around it this way before. Maybe you have, but I think this is going to be a really, really beautiful episode for whether you're someone that absolutely loves social media or whether you're someone that absolutely loathes social media. So let's jump straight into it. I want to share with you my perspective on socials. So first of all, I want to remind you that anything that I talk to you guys about is everything that I've been through myself. Yeah. Like I never teach on something that I've never been through. Like that's one of my big core values is obviously freedom is my biggest core value. But another core value of mine is integrity. And so I would never want to come from a place of like saying like that I'm teaching on this because I know nothing about it. I only ever teach on the things that I've truly experienced and the things that I've gone through. And so when it does come to socials and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn, like, oh my gosh, there's so many, there's more. And now there's threads, like, oh, there's so many platforms, isn't there? And it can get a little bit overwhelming about where do you start? What does it look like? And then you go down this bloody scrolling frenzy and you absorb what everybody else is doing and you think that that's what you should be doing and it's nothing that you're doing. So then you get into this whole comparison and you're like, oh, maybe I should start speaking like this, or maybe I should start creating my brand like this. Maybe I should start using that font because that's what that person does and I've pedestaled that person, and so therefore that means that they're successful. Okay. So I want to share this from a couple of perspectives of if you're someone that has a business that uses social media, but then I also want to share it from like a mentor's perspective as well, as in you looking for a mentor, whether that's me or whether that's someone else. I want you to take note of these topics that we're going to go through today. So when we think about it, if you're someone that really, really struggles with social media, there's a couple of things that are probably going on here. Number one, you probably have not managed your time properly, and so it's the last thing that gets done at the end of the day, or at the end of the week. And then by the time you get to that time of day or time of week, you're absolutely exhausted and you're like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. I'll just do it next week. And so then next week rolls around and the same thing happens again. So there's usually an element of that, but there's also an element of I don't know what to post. There's an element of you not being fully embodied in who you are and allowing yourself to be fully in your power and just completely authentic and real and raw. I know for me, like, oh, you know, I've invested a lot of money in mentorship. If you've listened to previous episodes, you will have heard me say, like, you know, to date, I'm probably, and I'm in mentorship right now. So to date, I've probably invested around the 800,000 in my mentorship as a student. And so I've had so many people tell me how to do things. They've given me the strategies, given me all of the frameworks. But the truth is that all of those things have worked, but they've worked for them because that's who they are at the core. And so something along my journey that I've had to really work out is like, who do I want to be? Like, is that how I want to speak? Do I really want to show up as this prim and proper and like, oh, that's not me. Like, I want to show up as a fucking dancing queen. I don't give a fuck what you think. I want to swear. Like, none of those things determine my success. Yeah. Me being my absolute self is what determines my true success. And the more that we can tap in to who you truly are at the core and let that shine through rather than following what everybody else is telling you to do or telling you who to be, like, that's not what we subscribe to in my world. We subscribe to you tapping into your own unique power. We subscribe to you owning all of yourself and doing it your way. The more that you can lean into that, the more that you can tap into that, you are the brand, right? You are the brand. So the more that you can bring that to the table, the more it's going to be felt from your audience, which is the next part that I want to get into. So a lot of you hate social media, right? A lot of you outsource it. A lot of you are like, I'm looking for a social media. I follow over 3,000 accounts. Okay. So I see what goes on behind the scenes. And majority of that 3,000 accounts is salon owners. So I see what you guys are doing. I see that you are wanting to outsource things. Now, before I get into this is a whole nother topic. I actually wasn't going to get into this, but here we are. We're going to roll with it because that's what the feminine does. She flows and she goes with it. And whatever needs to come through comes through. So obviously somebody needs to hear this message. Maybe it's you right now. And so when it comes to outsourcing, in my community, I say, I don't have a problem with you outsourcing. Okay. If it's based on time and you're like, it's just not something that I, have the time to do right now, and I want to prioritize my time and put it somewhere else, amazing. I love that for you. Okay, great. But if you're coming from this place of, I don't know what to post, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to speak, like, I'll just pass it off to someone else, that is the worst thing that you can do as a business owner. The worst thing that you can do. Why? Because you give your power away. You give your voice away. If you're outsourcing someone, that person is essentially, you're giving them the tasks and the jobs and the branding and the messaging and the mission and the vision. You're giving all of that information to them, and then they are just curating it and putting it into your socials. But if you're like, I just want someone to take over the whole thing for me, then you lose who you are. And this actually recently happened with one of the beautiful queens in Evolve. We did like a business audit over everybody's social media. I have a framework that we work through, and we went through this. This framework, and what ended up happening was what she realized. So she had outsourced a social media person, and what she had realized is that she has actually given a lot of her power away, and it's lost a lot of who she is at the core. And that's what her clients loved about her. They loved the branding that she brought to the table. But by outsourcing it and passing it all off, she then lost that human connection with her audience, because it was all just perfect curated stuff, which is fine if that's what your brand is, and that is part of her brand, but there was none of her anymore. There was not much, behind the scenes stuff. The interaction had been lost. And people want to be in a community. Yeah, like we did our astrology part of Evolve with bringing guest speakers, and we had beautiful Alexis come in, and she was telling us, like, collectively for this year, there's going to be a really big focus on community. Like, people are going to want to be in a community. And so that means that we have to start talking to our people like they're people, not like they're looking at a screen and just flicking through the stories. Like, they're looking for connection. And so where are you maybe not bringing yourself to the table? Where are you kind of trying to hide behind like the perfect images and things like that? Now, if that's your vibe, amazing. Okay. I'm here for that. If that brings you joy, then keep having your aesthetically pleasing feed the way that you want to have it. Okay. If it brings you joy, if it does not bring you joy, then please stop. Please stop. Because when you understand the law of attraction and you understand the law of frequency, you will know that energy over everything. So if you think that a perfectly curated branding, like everything looks just picture perfect, is what's going to make you more money, but you're hitting post with it absolutely killing your soul, then you're coming from feelings, frequencies of fear, shame, doubt, like lower frequencies. And so no matter how perfect your feed looks, your audience is going to feel it, not consciously, subconsciously, they're going to feel it. And they're going to be like, I don't know, this feels a little off. Have you ever gone to someone's socials and been like, I don't know, this feels a little off? There's someone that I have followed for a very, very long time. And she was actually a mentor as well in my world for a period of time. And like I loved her. And she's recently like changed her marketing and her branding and things like that, which is totally fine. She's obviously stepping more into who she is. But for me, I'm like, oh, that feels a bit off for me. Yeah, I can feel it. I feel it just doesn't feel right for me. And so know that your audience are also doing the same thing. They're looking at your content, and yes, they might be seeing like a beautiful curated feed, 9 squares on your feed, but if the energy behind it is coming from this lack or scarcity of like, well, I just need to post this because I haven't posted anything this week, right? Then you're coming from a lack and scarcity mindset, which means that that is what you're going to attract. You're going to attract the same type of client. That client, what does that look like? That client is going to come in and that client is going to want discounts. That client is not going to want to have any of the upgrades that you're suggesting. That client is not going to want to look after their hair. So they're not going to want to take home the retail that you're giving them all the solutions to fix all their problems with. They're literally just going to want the bare minimum. And you have nobody but yourself to blame for that, because that's the vibration that you put out there. And we are vibrational human beings living in a vibrational world. Therefore, we get met back with the exact same frequency that we put out. Okay. So it does not matter if your feed looks perfect. What matters is the energy that you're bringing to it. Yeah. The energy that you're bringing to your post. If you're writing this post from this beautiful place of love, pardon me, and you're writing this post from, just bringing you so much joy, your audience is going to feel that. They're not going to care whether it looks perfect. So here is your permission to completely throw that rule book out the window and stop subscribing. Oh, say that 10 times really quick. Stop subscribing to all of the stories that you've probably been told from other mentors, from other influencers that you've been maybe looking at or scrolling through. If it does not feel good, stop doing it. Stop doing it. You are only harming your business more. You are supposed to build businesses that feel good, that are in alignment. And if we don't, we become so resentful of our business. And when we're in resentment of our business, we're back in those lower frequencies. And so guess what happens? You then start attracting those same kind of clients again. And then you're like, fuck, why can't I make more money? Everything that's going on in your life right now is a direct reflection of who you're being. Everything. Your friendships, your relationships, partners, clients, everything. Because we're vibrational human beings living in a vibrational world, and we get met back with everything that we put out there. So what would it look like for you to let go of the shackles of society around what it looks like to show up on social media and start just having fun? Bring some fun back into business. I see so many women come into my world and it's so fucking serious all of the time. Life is not meant to be serious. Life is meant to be fun. Have you forgotten that we came here to actually live a human experience, not just to work? Bring the fun into it. So if the only thing that you take away from this is that you have permission to show up in a way that feels the most authentic way for you, then please, amazing, celebrating you so much. But also, this is not, I don't want you to think that this is not for those that are creating beautiful curated feeds. Yeah, like if it's bringing you joy, that's really what it comes down to. Pardon me. That's really what it comes down to. If it's bringing you joy, the way that you're doing things, amazing. Keep going with that. But if it's not, something is out of alignment and you have to stop and you have to listen and you have to reevaluate because it will impact your business. So I hope that this kind of throws that rule book out the window for you. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm teaching from experience right now. I've had the mentors tell me how to have it look, how many posts to write a day, what it should look like. It should be, connection posts. It should be this. It should be this. It should be this. None of it felt good. I did it. None of it felt good. And when I threw that out and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it my way and I'll just see. My engagement increases. People love it more. They see the realness. They see the vulnerability. They see the person who is there. And that is going to attract your ideal client. When you stop focusing on the stats and focusing on the strategy, is the strategy important? Yeah, it is. The strategy is important. I have the frameworks, but I also am a feminine woman who needs to learn how to work with her cycles, who needs to learn how to adapt and adjust, because one day I might have a whole plan of things that I was going to plan the night before, and I wake up and I get my period. And then it's like, well, all of those things, all of those things that I was going to do, I can't do them today because my body is asking me to rest. I'm literally bleeding out my vagina right now. And that means that I'm not supposed to be doing any work. I'm supposed to be honoring what my body is doing. It's going through a death right now. So what would that look like to honor my body? So when it comes to socials, show up consistently. Yeah, show up consistently, but show up from a place where it feels good. Stop sharing when you think that you have to share and start sharing when you want to share. And the more that you create time and space in your day, you're actually going to want to show up on socials. But because your life is so busy and you're in so much of a hustle mode, that's why you struggle. So what would it look like for you to start creating some time and space in your days, in your weeks, where you can just be? Maybe run a bath, maybe go for a walk. Just be yourself. Maybe have a dance party. I love a good dance party. Yeah. What would that look like for you? So I hope that today's episode is really reminding you that you do get to do business in any way. This is the new paradigm of seller owners. This is something that I'm super passionate about, is forgetting what everybody else is doing, forgetting about what everybody else is telling you to do, being in competition with each other. Find your unique flavor. No one can take that from you. Yeah. No one can take your unique flavor away. So here's your permission. If you want to have an aesthetically pleasing feed, amen. Love that for you, sister. Go get it, boo. But if you don't love having an aesthetically pleasing feed and it gives you anxiety and it makes you feel overwhelmed that you procrastinate, don't fucking have one. It gets to be that simple. Have a beautiful day. If this is landed for you, come and let me know. I'd love to hear. Yeah. Such a juicy one. Talk to you soon. Bye.